not long after. The Big Ten has not said anything about Michigan, whether they agree with the decision, whether they disagree with the decision. Michigan's already appealed it. The ruling from the NCAA, the 10-year show cause for Jim Harbaugh, the $30-something million in fine, whatever. This, to me, says, okay, don't talk about that. Look over here. How about a 24-2018 college football playoff bracket?
That would be one way to describe it.
It's so absurd that it gets you talking, and we forget that the Michigan ruling just came down.
Hi, it's the Adam Gold Show. What's up? I'm Adam Gold. That is Victoria.
It's Hump Day.
Camera's working or no?
We shall see.
Talk a little longer.
If we just maybe it's thinking about it.
Well, we are going to engage in conversation here. First, let me remind people that we are on YouTube.
Yes.
Go to YouTube, Adam Gold Show, or 99.9 The Fan in the search bar, and you'll find us, and you can watch me and my sling all day. First 2 days with the sling, I had a dark shirt on. Some people might not have noticed.
Yeah, it was hidden.
Most people did. But now with a light-colored shirt, Gold's wearing a sling.
It's out and about.
So we don't have to get into the conversation. It's not that interesting. But the horse won.
And what kind of horse was this?
A big one.
I know. I was going to say, you were talking about it's a big booty horse.
Yes.
There.
Portia, her name.
Yes.
Is a Percheron thoroughbred draft cross horse. Anyway, she's full-bodied.
Yeah.
Plus size.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son calls her freight train.
Oh,
anyway,
okay, yeah.
So she spun, knocked me out. It was like getting hit by a linebacker.
It's not fun.
Yeah. So we're okay. Everything is in good working order except the shoulder.
Right.
Yesterday, at the end of the show, and I teased this yesterday because Monday night we did a Canes Corner podcast. Corey Lavalette, North State Journal, Matt Soma, who used to run the Canes Prospects Twitter feed, has passed it on to Nick Bass. But Matt's still covering the team and covering the game, and he has Substack, whatever. And we jumped on YouTube on Monday night, and we chatted for about 40 minutes. Blah, blah. That dropped. We did it live Monday, and it dropped Tuesday. But I teased in the podcast and also yesterday on the show, maybe Monday on the show, that yesterday after the show, Rod Brind'Amour was coming in a studio. Mm-hmm. Not this studio, but a podcast studio. And we were going to record something a little bit more long form, a little bit more wide ranging, and that will be available Monday night, I think around 7 o'clock. I think about 7 o'clock. Monday night on the normal Canes Corner podcast feed. And then it would be distributed as a regular podcast at that point as well. We all know what Rod means to the Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit here all day long, and there have been various threads of conversation about important trades and signings and players. And Rod Brind'Amour represents two things for the Hurricanes. He is, as a Hurricane, the best player. And I do not mean any disrespect to Eric Stahl here. Rod Brind'Amour was the best player in Hurricanes history. He came here in a trade for Keith Primo in, I think it was December of 99. Team's moving into their new arena. Captain of the team, their best player. Primo, a holdout. But so it gets resolved by Primo getting sent to Philadelphia and Brind'Amour, who had already established himself as one of the best two-way players in the NHL, coming to Raleigh. He was part of a Stanley Cup finalist in 2002. He was the captain on the Cup champion in 2006. So there is the player, Rod Brind'Amour, who for 8 seasons, I think he retired in 11. So the end of his career wasn't as good. He also overcame a knee injury late in his career. And we lost a year to the lockout. But for 7 seasons, he was their best player.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't always their leading scorer, but he was their best player. This is where you run into the Eric Stahl, Rob. So you got that. But he is also the singular most important person in Hurricanes history after Peter Karmanos, who brought the team here. We don't have the Hurricanes if Karmanos doesn't see dollar signs in Raleigh that he wasn't seeing in Hartford, and all sorts of people help pull it off. There is a 25th anniversary Canes Corner podcast, if you want to go search for it, with 8 episodes that deal with all of that. And I invite you to go back and check it out. I think there are some pretty fun and cool episodes. If you aren't familiar with it, go do a Google search for 25th Anniversary Canes Corner Podcast. You'll find it. Anyway, so Rod comes into studio. We know what Rod means to this era of the Hurricanes, taking over as head coach May of 18, and the Hurricanes have made the playoffs every year since. Remember, they went 9 straight seasons without.
Mm-hmm.
Every year in the playoffs. 3 times to the conference finals. Yeah, we understand. They've won 1 game in 3 years in the conference finals. Getting to the Final Four of your sport shouldn't be looked at as a failure.
Not at all.
Okay, now, but it goes beyond that with Rod Brind'Amour. I talk glowingly about him, A, as a head coach, but B, also as good a representative of your organization as you will find anywhere in sports. I would stack the Carolina Hurricanes head coach up against anyone when it comes to being the face of your franchise. And I just want to take people a little bit behind the scenes here. There is a phrase in sports like, you don't ever want to meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Because invariably in sports, you will be let down.
And in music.
Yeah, very, very well. Music and sports have a lot of similarities.
Big time.
That's why, like a lot of musicians want to be athletes, and a lot of athletes want to be musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody that has ever met their favorite player growing up, sometimes the meeting doesn't live up to expectations. So, put yourself in the framework, in the mindset of a Hurricanes fan, a big-time Hurricanes fan, and you have the opportunity to meet Rod Brind'Amour,
mm-hmm.
who was, first, a great player,
Yep.
should be in the Hall of Fame, and second, a great head coach who is overseeing the best era that this franchise has ever had, and that's with 02 and 06, which was sort of the same era, right? A lot of the same players, same core anyway, albeit with 2 different head coaches. Anyway, and the anticipation for some of these people had never been like with him
Mm-hmm.
in close company to Rod. And the anticipation for people yesterday was like, I see Rod all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get butterfly, I don't get like nervous energy when I just see Rod all the time. Literally, one of the jokes is I will interview him 100 times, maybe more, 110 times, starting with training camp on till the season's over. We talk that often. Sometimes we talk and it's not an interview, so it's even more. He's sick and tired of me by the time we get to June. He'll deny it. But this is the special quality that he has. You're lucky if when you meet your hero, if it comes close to not your expectations, but what you hope it would be. Those are not expectations. Your expectations probably lower than, man, I hope it's the greatest experience I ever have. Yeah, but you don't expect it to be that way. You know, all it's got to be is pleasant. I will promise you and if Rod's listening to this, he's going to be like, why are you putting all this pressure on me? I promise you, everybody's expectations are exceeded by meeting Rod.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing. I can't believe how great he is.
He's exceptional. He's a great person.
Yes, and one of the things that Rod always stresses about the team is about we want to bring in great people.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say to me yesterday? And this is sort of a little bit of a sneak preview into some of the things we talked about. He talked about the Blake contract and the Stankoven contract. He goes, but like even if the players don't work out to be what we hope they'd be, he goes, you're not going to hate having these guys around. They're just great people.
Yeah.
So it is first and foremost on his list to bring in and maintain, if you can, great people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get into it yesterday with him because I had been through it before with him, and I tried not to repeat certain things. The embrace after the Hurricanes and Devils series ended with Brett Pesce, which still gets me emotional.
Yeah.
That I've said this before. That was my lasting impression of the year,
mm-hmm.
of the entire season.
Yeah.
That's the thing that will stick with me until we start playing again, until we see Pesce again. And I've had my text exchange with Pesce about it. That to me said everything about the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's about winning. He's about the team. He's about getting them better, but he's about the people. And when you meet Rod, I'm going to draw this comparison. Anybody that has ever met Arnold Palmer knows what I'm talking about. If you have met Arnold for whatever reason, and he designed NC State's golf course, he was here for part of the ceremonies for that. I've covered him at golf tournaments. Arnold Palmer had a way of making you feel like you mattered. I don't know how you do that with people that you actually don't speak with.
Yeah.
But he had a way of making you feel like you were important.
It's special.
It's Rod Brind'Amour. Mm-hmm. So just my own personal thank you to the head coach for doing that. The episode of the Canes Corner podcast with Rod Brind'Amour in Megan LaMontagne's fancy iced tea studio. Mm-hmm. It really was just a ploy to get in there and do a podcast from that studio.
Right.
Like, no, if I do most of my stuff either from the press box at Lenovo Center or my screened-in porch
on
the back of my house. Sometimes with Earl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends. He was not out. He was not out for the one on Monday night.
Yeah.
And occasionally Harriet too. But it was cool to be in that studio. It was really just a ploy to get to use the studio for a little bit.
There you go. I always joke with Rod too, saying, "Oh, it's my favorite head coach ever," and he's like, "Oh, you say that to all the head coach." No, he's great. He's fantastic.
He is. So I want to start with a little bit of Hurricanes. Let's go.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
All right.
Let's get it started in here.
Hurricanes Twitter is a wonderful place. A lot of exchanging of ideas. Sometimes can be a little thick-headed. Yesterday, on an online hockey show, I don't know where it is, Jake Guentzel was a guest. I don't know if the show is in Tampa. I don't know if the show is in Minnesota, where I think he's from. No, he's from Nebraska. I don't know exactly where the show was. Guentzel was asked. Remember, we've always heard no big stars want to stay in Carolina. Mikko Rantanen didn't want to stay. Jake Guentzel didn't want to stay. And we always seem to have the fight that Guentzel didn't want to stay. And nothing could be further from the truth. So, Jake Guentzel, I don't know exactly when he said this, but I saw it yesterday. It's been populating the interwebs. Explains.
Yeah, that was just a whirlwind kind of time. First time going to a different team. You're not sure how it's going to go, but I loved my time there. Great team, great group of guys, and it was a lot of fun to be able to play with those guys. Aho, I think, is an unbelievable player. Jarvy's a great player too. So those guys were just special players to play with for when I played with those guys in regular season. And there was kind of a lot of back and forth before free agency. Was hoping to get a deal done, right after the season, just didn't kind of come to fruition. And as time got closer and it got closer to free agency, I was kind of sitting there just, I'm already 4 days away from free agency. Let's just wait it out and see what happens. And then Tampa came and traded for my rights. And I think that was a no-brainer for me when that happened.
All right. So what we have been saying ever since I figured out how this happened with the help of a lot of people, been saying the same thing. And the organization has essentially admitted it, so I don't even know why we're even having the discussion, except that even Hurricanes fans sometimes don't get it. It was, to use a phrase from another sport, an own goal. The Hurricanes put it in their own net. Jake Guentzel wanted to stay. The contract that he was asking for was not unreasonable. 8 years, $8 million. For a perennial 30-goal scorer? Yeah. What did Nick Ehlers just get? $8.5 million over 6 years.
Yeah.
I love Nick Ehlers. He's not Jake Guentzel.
Nope.
End of story. So the Hurricanes eventually got there. But by that time, oh, wait. I could play with Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov? Really? And yes, no state income tax, blah, blah, blah. You left it to chance.
Yep.
He wanted to stay. And ultimately, as I've told people, without being overly critical, the Hurricanes were in a little bit of a salary cap crunch. It was the same summer. We had Natchez signed the 2-year deal, $6.5 million a year. Jarvis signed his contract extension, which was long-term. And it really was this simple. If Guentzel gets done, Natchez gets traded. End of discussion. That was the trade-off. If Guentzel gets done, Jarvis's contract probably looks a little bit different. It probably is a bridge deal to get Carolina to a point where they can do a longer, maybe more lucrative deal for Seth, because at that point, the Hurricanes were in a crunch and didn't have as much money to play with. But ultimately, Jarvis and Guentzel could have gotten done. Natchez would have been dealt easily to somebody who was willing to just give him a first-round pick. End of discussion. The owner tried to get Guentzel to come lower than 8, which was why, and this is the negotiating tactic used by every team. All right, we're sort of close. I'm just going to stay quiet and see if the player will come to me. Guentzel and his agent stayed firm at 8. And by the time the Hurricanes were willing to offer 8, they were like, I think we're going to wait till free agency. And they knew what was going to happen. So, yes, they traded his rights to Tampa because they knew that was the direction of travel, so to speak. Anyway, that's where we are. It's not any more complicated than that. It's not, you don't blame Don Waddell. You don't blame Eric Tulsky. It was the top of management trying to get the number a little bit lower, which is their right. And ultimately, it cost them the player. End of discussion. Right? We don't have to harbor any ill will. Hurricanes are still an excellent team. They would have loved to have had Jake Guentzel. He would have loved to have been here, as he said. All right. Shall we move on? All right. College football fans, I understand that this might sound like a bit of a... haven't we talked about this? So, the College Football Playoff Committee has revealed to select members of the media, now we all know, that they will be using different schedule strength metrics for the upcoming season, which is great. You can use all the metrics you want. Two things that are a problem. One, we do not have, Mike DeCourcy brought this up on Twitter, but it's something we have talked about before. we just don't have enough non-conference play of a meaningful nature to really, except between the ACC and the SEC, which we have a lot, to really draw a clear picture of overall conference strength. Basically, the same teams are good all the time. That's college football for you in a nutshell. I've sort of used the analogy, we could probably look at the entire schedule like every week and pick every game and probably get 80% right. Just pick a winner. Probably get 80% right. I mean, the same teams are good all the time. Anyway, with that said, you have the fact that we don't have enough crossover, so it's really hard to even develop a metric that would accurately portray conference strength. And the bottom line for me is this. Show me a time where schedule of strength actually mattered. And I'll listen, because it doesn't matter. You can come up with the greatest metric in the world. If the people who make decisions in college football, whether it's a committee or it's voters who vote in the coaches poll or the media poll, historically, they've never cared, ever, except when it will suit their narrative either way. At that point, they will decide, you know what? They really haven't played anybody, so maybe we should maybe they're not so good. Last year's a perfect case in point. It didn't matter to the people who pull the levers for this endeavor that Indiana's strength of schedule was among the worst in the country. Certainly among the worst in the Power Four. Didn't matter to them. Oh, they were so impressed. We talk to Chip Patterson all the time, right? Chip was singing and Chip and I have had back and forth about this all the time. And I will say this up front. Doesn't just because you play a crappy schedule doesn't mean you're not great. We have to allow for that possibility. Just so happens, played a bad schedule. Hey, Penn State's schedule this year ain't good. I think Penn State's got 2 losable games. 2. That's it. I mean, if Penn State's not, if they're any worse than 11-1, that's a disappointment. Go into a season like that. Anything less than 11-1, man, you've really screwed this up. Still make the playoff, by the way. But nobody talked about Indiana's schedule. Nobody. And by the way, because just to prove to you that it doesn't matter, Miami's schedule wasn't bad. It was pretty good. They lost twice. And by the end of the season, when Florida looked good and Miami ran them off the field in Gainesville, nobody cared about it. We should have been talking about, wait a second, Miami went to an SEC school in their building, kicked the snot out of them, and we're not talking about that? Why? Because it doesn't matter in college football. It never has. It never will. So when I see this, and this is another situation where in college sports, and unfortunately the media gets caught up in this because they laud this as something impressive, we pat ourselves in the back. For what? This doesn't matter. It won't matter. Promise. It won't matter. Penn State's schedule is trash. It's awful. They're not trying. By the way, look at Indiana's next 6 non-conference schedule. Look at them. They play 0 Power 4 schools outside of the Big Ten. None. Not even trying, because they know the game. This is why when the ACC plays all these great non-conference schedules, I say, why? Why? Never mind. Maybe we'll ask that of Bubba Cunningham later today, who will join us at 2 o'clock. The outgoing athletic director, one more year. I picture in my mind Bubba Cunningham having a calendar in his office, crossing off days.
Absolutely.
Crossing off days.
Oh, but it might be a digital one, though.
August 20th.
Yeah.
Could be. Could be. Speaking of, thank you to Victoria and Rusty They brought me a carrot cake. I'm sitting out in the. I should release the. Even though the video was directed to our friend Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News.
Right, who apparently doesn't like carrot cake.
He doesn't. He trashed the carrot cake Twitter debate.
Terrible.
Anyway, Victoria and Rusty brought me a carrot cake. My birthday is tomorrow. I will not be here tomorrow. So thank you for that. I got my dose of vegetables in for the day.
Exactly.
And
plenty left over for tomorrow when you're off.
No, we're putting it back in the cubicle back
then
there.
It's gonna be gone.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't want to take it home. I had a piece and it's all. I might sleep during the show.
You put food out anywhere in this building and it's vultures.
Well, we're not putting it where the general masses can see it.
Oh yeah.
It's just going back into the sports cubicle.
Okay, there we go.
So anyway, when we come back, Joe Person covers the Panthers for The Athletic. Will we ever see, and I'm sure we will at some point, but why haven't we seen Cam Newton's number one?
Number one. Yes.
Number two at Auburn.
Half of that.
Which is being required.
Right.
Retired, rather. Will we ever see Cam Newton's number one in the Ring of Honor at Bank of America Stadium? That and more about the team with Joe Person next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Get ready.
Concepcion touchdown, 13 yards. NC State leads North Carolina with 8:01 to play.
College football kicks off August 23rd.
Jones a first down and more. 10-5. They've tied the game. Bully ball by the Duke offense. Down the far sideline. Caught at the 10. The 5. Touchdown, Carolina.
On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and here we go. August 26th, FanDuel Futures Day. Should be a holiday, and maybe it is for some people. It is for me. For football fans, it's also a holiday because it's 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. Take a flyer on that MVP, Bryce Young, plus 10,000. If you think the Panthers are going to be good, why not? How about who wins the Super Bowl? You know, the Chiefs are the fourth choice. That's right, the fourth choice. Broncos at plus 2,400 might be interesting. Anything you want, you've got it at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and a great app. Visit the FanDuel app today. Plan your futures bets now. There will be prizes. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loan loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-171 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure, dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare. Wow.
With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
This is Adam Gold.
We're going to have Seth on the show next week when he gets back from vacation. He was by a pool. What are you doing? Get off Twitter.
It's nicer to be on Twitter when you're by a pool anyway.
No, just stop. Stop engaging with people.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. It's a Chip Patterson day. Bubba Cunningham, the director of athletics, for now, at the University of North Carolina, will join us in our third hour. But right now it is time to chat up the man himself, the man who covers the Carolina Panthers for The Athletic, the one and only Joe Person. Sir, how you been? You survived training camp. What are your thoughts as we, 2 weeks away or so from the regular season?
Yeah, well, first off, I got to name drop the alma mater a little bit. That you mentioned Bubba Cunningham. The successor, the AD in waiting, whose, of course, name is going to escape me, he's the William & Mary man, and I think we
Steve
overlap.
Newmark, right?
Steve Newmark. Yeah. We met one time here in Charlotte at a Charlotte alumni function. He was very, much smarter than the sports writer in the room, and so good. William & Mary tribe pride, as we say, as they say in Williamsburg, Virginia.
There has been a number of big time people come out of William & Mary. Mike Tomlin. A William and Mary guy. I'm a huge Mike Tomlin fan. So, yeah.
Mike Tomlin, Sean McDermott, the list goes. Jon Stewart, the comedian.
Wait a second.
The talk show host.
Jon Stewart went to William and Mary?
Here, little known fact, and this is not a bit. This is not a joke. He was a soccer player who then went by his given name, his birth name, which I believe was John Leibowitz.
Okay, it makes sense.
And so anyway, I digress.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I might change my name too, although you never know. I didn't have to. I had a simple, whatever name people think
you're
gold
is. You're not changing your name.
No, it's fine.
You cannot. That is your brand, brother, you're golden.
Please. All right, let's get to before I ask you a bigger picture organizational story. We've had two games. The first team offense has had 4 drives. It's produced a touchdown, I think 3 3-and-outs. I know Dave Canales was not happy after the first 2 series in Houston. Where are we as we have one more preseason game where the starters will not play? So where are we as we approach the start of the season?
This is like the existential preseason football question. I mean, I remember years ago covering the Falcons, and it was like, did Chris Chandler play enough? And I don't say that to minimize the question at all, because I do think it is much more relevant on this team with this quarterback, because last year, you'll remember, Bryce and the offense, the starters on both sides of the ball, but we're talking about Bryce. They played a single series in Buffalo, the third preseason game. Yeah. It happened that they went down the field and scored against the Bills, second and third teamers, and boom. And why do I bring that up? Because Bryce then went in and had an abysmal start to the regular season, as has been well documented and as we've discussed. And so was that part of it? I mean, it couldn't have helped that he got so. And so I would have liked to have seen, I don't necessarily disagree with not playing him this week, I would have played him another series at Houston, see if he could have had just. And I get it. It's like, is one series going to make a difference?
Right.
I don't know. But if it were me, I would have played him one more series, gotten him out of there, and take your chances in Jacksonville week 1.
All right, I run the risk sometimes of being super sports talky, have to find fault with something. I can't agree with everything, otherwise, why are people listening? So
right.
I tried not to be that way. But my reaction to not getting a third series was, and it wasn't, in real time, I'm like, why aren't they putting him back out there? But listening to Dave Canales after the game, and he said I wanted them to earn it, and I thought going into the game, they were hoping to get 10 to 12 plays out of him. So they ran 7 if we count the first play that was erased by a defensive penalty. So why not just do what you hoped to do, which was get 10 to 12 plays, and send him out for a third series? And I felt like he was just mad at the lack of execution and basically threw his hands up and said, that's it. Whereas you want to get them to sometimes figure it out on their own at times. And you guys got to be better. Show me something this series, but they decided to pull the ripcord on it, and now we're not going to see him again until Jacksonville in 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I had a similar feeling as you did. And let me say, too, I went down to Houston for the practice and the practice only, and they looked good in practice.
Yep.
And Canales, and they did against Cleveland, too, in that joint practice, but not in the game. And so I do think it's not just coach speak when Canales talks about getting the work done in practice. And I get it. I wondered, and I asked this question of Dave Canales this week, did Bryce getting hit a couple times in those very brief 6-7 play, and one of them was on that first play that, where he just threw it up on the penalty on the defense. Anyway, I'd asked Dave, did you not love the protection you were seeing? And was that part of the reason you didn't want to run him back out here? And he said, no, that really wasn't part of it. And then he may have gotten confused on the question, because then he started talking about how when Andy Dalton got hit the next series, which is sort of like, is that probably smart I took him out. But at any rate, I think that the good news about all this is they did seemingly escape the preseason without any major injuries to not only Bryce and Andy Dalton, but really, they had the Josie Jewell news on day one, and unfortunately for him, and I still do think they are late at linebacker. But other than that, they will go into Jacksonville pretty darn healthy. So that's not nothing.
Oh, I agree with you. Escaping preseason injury-free. Now, J.C. Horn's going to miss both games he might have played in because of the injury he suffered in the car accident. So, but I'm not, and I said this even at the time, maybe in some ways blessing in disguise, because we know what J.C. Horn is about, and I'm not that concerned that he didn't play in the first 2 preseason games, as long as he's good to go for Jacksonville in week 1, and I assume that he will be good to go. There are still holes in the defense. The biggest area of concern that you might have, other than I know you mentioned interior linebacker, biggest area of concern defensively, you think, still as we get, again, close to the regular season?
Yeah, just kind of that whole defense in general, right?
All of it.
I think we all have a little PTSD from last year and just watching teams gash them in the running game and then get into second and short and third and short and not, and where your pass rush is negated. And, we saw it, and with a few, very few exceptions, we saw it all season. And it's a different group. Dan Morgan tried to do what he did with the offensive line last offseason. He turned his attention to D-line. You and I talked about that in March, and, they didn't get the big fish. Milton Williams goes to New England for a lot more money than the Panthers were willing to pay him. And so I think that, I haven't seen just a crazy good edge rush this summer. I know they have two former Vikings who are lined up as the starters with DJ Wanham and Pat Jones, both of whom I think are more than serviceable, but I don't think they're the guy.
Right.
And then they draft the two guys, second and third round edge rushers, Nick Scorton, who of course had the injury scare in Houston, but is feeling much better. And I think not going to play tomorrow, but I think we'll see him out running around before the game. And I think he'll be ready for week one. And then Princely Uman-Miele. All of which to say, I mentioned all these guys, but I haven't seen much from them. I mean, the Pat Jones had a sack on, a quote, air quote sack, whistle being blown dead early in the practice against C.J. Stroud. But that's a concern, inside linebacker concern, and then corner depth. I like the starters. I like J.C. Horn. I like Mike Jackson. But there's not a lot behind those guys. And J.C. Horn has an injury history.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's reason for optimism with the offense, but you just wonder, is this going to be a situation where they're having to outscore teams every week with this defense?
I've joked in some ways, if you're a fantasy football player, take guys who are going to play the Panthers, at wide receiver or maybe at running back. Just take those guys, even if you have a rotating cast, and also take Panthers, because I think they're going to have to move the ball. It's sort of like Joe Burrow is probably going to throw for 19,000 yards this year for the Bengals, because they're going to give up all the points. Joe Person from The Athletic, who covers the Panthers, is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show at Joseph Person on Twitter. I don't know how big a deal this is, and I don't want to make it a big deal if it's not, but I am curious. I think I saw whether it was something quoting the team. It wasn't from the team, that there are no plans to add anybody to the Ring of Honor this year at Bank of America Stadium. Cam Newton is getting number 2 retired by Auburn University. And I know it bubbled up probably because of Cam a year ago. Is there an issue between the organization and Cam Newton which would get in the way of them honoring him in this manner? And if not, what are they waiting for?
Yeah, so I wrote about this in March, and that may be what you're referring to. And then yesterday, I think you saw my tweet. This was the deal about.
It was from you. Okay, good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so here, somebody for my March story, as I was making my calls and interviewing Ron Rivera and players who played with Cam, I talked to a lot of people, and I forget who it was, but somebody said, it's going to be really hard to bring the 2015 team back and do a big 10-year homecoming hoo-ha if Cam Newton's not part of it. That is a terrible look. It's optically, optics are horrible, and it's just, it's like honoring those old Miami Dolphins super duper receiver teams without Dan Marino.
Yeah.
And so your question was about what caused this. And you have two very strong-willed, bullheaded people in Cam and David Tepper, who at some point or another, and I think some of it has to do with the fact that Cam now is very vocal. He has this platform, be it on ESPN during football season and then his own podcast the rest of the year. And he, like Steve Smith, is not afraid to call it like he sees it about his former team. And I think there's some times they felt like Cam kind of took that too far. I mean, I know they're not kind of, they did feel like that. He said when he got here that it was a locker room full of losers. And this was a team that had Thomas Davis on it at the time and a bunch of other guys.
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith was still on. Thank you. So things like that. I don't think usually these are about money. In that March story, I referenced Calvin Johnson's rift with the Lions, which they've since gotten through. That had to do with money that he thought he was owed that they didn't pay him because he retired early before the contract. usually these are money related. I don't get the impression it is. And so Olson, in that same story, Greg Olson said, we should be able to get this figured out. Get Pepper and Cam in the room. If we need somebody like me to sit in there as a moderator, a mediator, like, I'll do it. Like, I know I like both of these guys, and it really should happen. And hopefully it happens sooner rather than later, and they can at least have a homecoming weekend for the 2015, which was a very special team in which you and I lived through.
That was an incredible team. I have never seen Greg Olson say anything other than amazing things about Cam Newton. I've heard Greg talk a lot about his experience with Cam, and it's all A pluses. Everything I've heard Greg say. I know maybe it says other things privately. I don't know. But everything publicly has been great about Cam as a teammate. I know he got a lot of blowback for not jumping on the fumble. Greg has even, kind of pushed that aside. Whether he's giving Cam the benefit of the doubt or not, whatever. He has nothing but great things to say about Cam. And I think Olson is super well respected around the league, no?
I mean, I think Cam was, a big they helped each other, to be sure.
Sure.
But, I mean, the Greg Olson becoming the first tight end in history to have 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons and at least be in the conversation for Canton. I don't know that Greg will ultimately. That's due in large part because of Cam Newton. So they had a chemistry, and good for Marty Herney recognizing in 2011 when they got Cam number 1 that he wanted somebody at a position that is often a quarterback's security blanket, and he goes out and makes one of the best trades in Panthers history, trading for Greg Olson, who was at Chicago at the time, and it was okay, but it was not the receiver, the pass-catching tight end that he would become in Charlotte. And so Cam and Olson, and that's what I kind of wondered, like, that's why I started, just wondering this week, like, might they do something where they put 3 guys from that team in the Hall of Honor this year, like Greg, Luke, and Cam. And, and there are other deserving, like Thomas Davis was on that team, and he'll be in the Hall of Honor. But I do wonder if some of it's like, we can't really do this if Cam's not going to be a part of it. And so
they got to figure it out.
I do think eventually they'll get it sorted out, but they're not there yet.
Joe Person, you're a gentleman. I appreciate your time, sir. I don't enjoy the 3rd preseason game, and I will talk to you very soon, my friend. I appreciate it.
You didn't ask, and no follow-ups, but yes, I am team carrot cake as long as there's cream cheese.
Yes! You're such a good man.
I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Joe. Joe Person. See, another smart guy.
I know. I asked him about it on the phone, and I love that he followed it up, too, with it has to have cream cheese icing. I'm like, we're one and the same. We're all on the same team.
It's not carrot cake if it doesn't have cream cheese icing.
I know.
All right, we got one-timers. Whatever we have one time. Next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
When life feels overwhelming, knowing where to turn can make all the difference.
That's why crisis services are here for anyone at any time, no judgment.
If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health, substance use, or feeling lost,
Crisis services are here for you 24/7.
Compassionate, low or no-cost services.
Whatever your crisis, you always have options. Find the support that's right for you.
Visit ncdhhs.gov/crisis services.
Voted best zoo in the nation, North Carolina Zoo and Botanical Gardens is centrally located in the heart of North Carolina. Bring your family to Asheboro for an affordable day trip or weekend excursion to connect with nature and make cherished memories. Discover towering giraffes, pouncing sandcats, and diving seabirds at the world's largest natural habitat zoo. Roam with rhinos on Zoofari or flutter by the exotic butterfly garden during your next visit. Explore more possibilities at nczoo.org.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box
yeah.
in the
Went
car.
to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Chip Patterson in about 20 minutes. Cover 3 podcast moderator. A preview of what we're going to talk about next hour. We'll talk about punishments and why it pays to cheat in college football. But it's a nuanced conversation, but we'll get to it coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, questions, answers.
Okay, so first up, we kind of had a little bit of news this morning, but I'm sure some Canes fans saw it, that Jesper Fost is now going to become the Canes development coach. So,
okay,
what are your thoughts on this?
Canes, Jesper Fost is hard work personified, team sacrifice personified, and those guys, it sounds vague to me, but it's okay because having Jesper Fost around young players is a positive. He is one of, I would do that with Antti Raanta too, by the way. Mm-hmm. I would bring him in.
Yeah.
You couldn't have nicer people around your team.
Yeah.
Fost, incredible. I mean, Obviously, you're talented enough to play in the NHL, but the sacrifice he makes for the team is, to me, that's something you show to young players.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, along the
I don't know if
same
that was an
lines-
answer.
Sure. Along the same lines, we have someone from the YouTube stream that wants to know when the Hurricanes return to practice.
Training camp opens like the third week in September. So then we'll start reporting then, and then we'll get to the games, which begin toward the end of the month. But yeah, I'm excited. Talking to Rod Brind'Amour yesterday, we didn't really talk that much about the current team. We talked a little bit about it. Maybe the first half of the podcast that will drop on Monday night was about the current team and, some decisions they've got to make. But, no, I'm very excited about the group. Can't wait.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the Canes,
She scores!
he covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at X Golf in Cary. Date night blahs, you were thinking about dinner and a movie? Nah. X Golf, great atmosphere, superb bar menu, incredible staff, a really cool vibe, and the best golf simulator in North Carolina. Take date night to a whole new level. And on top of that, I'm going to hook you up. Buy one, get one free special. Just mention me, Gold. I'll turn your 1 hour into 2. X Golf in Cary, the home of premier indoor golf in North Carolina.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
We are knocking on the door of the regular season for the Carolina Panthers, and there are still so many questions on the defensive depth chart. The depth, the second unit. What happens if someone gets hurt? For the Carolina Panthers defense is the type of question where the answers are harrowing. You don't want to see them. It's like the end of a horror movie. Just roll credits.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get it Wi-Fi.
Yes,
Immediately.
we need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank, member FDIC.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. The Sign and Save sales event is happening now at Clayton Homes and Oakwood Homes, but only through August 31st. You can save up to $5,000 instantly on your new home. That's $2,500 off a single section or $5,000 off a multi-section home. Discover the comfort, the style, and the value of a Clayton-built home, crafted with North Carolina in mind. From modern floor plans to energy-saving upgrades and premium finishes, there's a home fitting your lifestyle and, of course, your budget. And with summer heating up, it's the perfect time to enjoy energy-smart features for year-round comfort and savings. Stop by, tour our fully furnished models, or visit manufacturedhomeoffers.com and browse limited-time deals. But don't wait. The Sign and Save sales event ends August 31st. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating retailers through 8/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up, and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
The reason I have Clemson number 2 is because, first of all, you mentioned quarterback Cade Klubnik, and I think with another year with offensive coordinator Garrett Riley, he's going to go from good to great. He made a lot of strides last year, but remember, he's got his top 3 receivers coming back. That Clemson defensive front is going to be one of the best in the country, and I know Dabo has taken some heat for not using the portal, but I think he had the perfect mix of it this year, and I think that combination of developing players, keeping them in the program is going to pay off.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Pardon me. Take my glasses, my readers off.
Well, it's more difficult now that you only have like one. I mean, you can use both hands. You still have both of them, but
sorta.
One's kind of,
Yeah. By the way, I for a lot of reasons, I need this chair to be a little higher.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's somewhat uncomfortable to have my hand up to type.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, and I always encourage you to do that, you get a chance to see the show. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan, and you can see us. You can watch us do the show if you want. So people will occasionally see me while we're having a conversation with a guest, or you and I are talking. Sometimes I'll be like responding to something through a text or Twitter or something like that. Right now I'm basically typing with one hand.
Yeah.
Which is not easy.
No, it's not
caps. So if you get a text from me or a tweet from me,
it's all caps.
No, that is no caps.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, I don't do the all caps tweet.
Why are you screaming at me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, so we had the injury on Monday, but we'll be fine. I did send that picture, the video of the carrot cake to Mike DeCourcy.
Oh yeah.
He is still digging into his anti-carrot cake stance. Joe Person, you, me, all team carrot cake.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, Mike's just going to have to get on board.
I know. What's his favorite then? Does he come back with like, this is better than carrot cake?
You know what? I've never ordered cake with Mike DeCourcy.
You should ask him. Okay.
We've had dinner.
Okay, Mike, what's your favorite
We've
then?
had dinner a few times, but we have never ordered cake.
You know what his favorite probably is?
Just
German chocolate. That's why you gotta watch YouTube so you can see Adam's face, because we had a whole conversation about how German chocolate's not the ideal cake of the show.
All right. I want to get to a couple of things. Chip Patterson's going to join us in a little bit more than 10 minutes. There are two things that we're going to talk about with Chip. Well, more than two, but two main topics. One will be the strength of schedule metric change that the College Football Playoff Committee is going to undergo, or they're going to use. Now, we spent some time talking about that right out of the gate, and honestly, I am not impressed because I don't think it matters. But there are two things I want to talk about briefly in the next 7 or 8 minutes. The first is, I know Anthony Richardson is not the quarterback it's not going to be the starting quarterback for Indianapolis. The Colts have decided to go with Daniel Jones. And I've seen some people go, well, they're tanking for Arch Manning. One quick thing. There is no guarantee that Arch Manning is going to be in this draft. He doesn't have to come out. He can, but he doesn't have to. So with all of that, maybe it's the Colts. I think the Colts are kind of poorly run right now. So I don't know if you want to go, just because your uncle went there doesn't mean it's a good spot for you. They have certainly screwed up Anthony Richardson. Maybe. And I'm not saying it's that Anthony Richardson is not part of the problem here. But they screwed something up in this whole process. And we talked about this extensively yesterday. It's hard to be a quarterback in the NFL. It's hard and complicated to draft a quarterback. A lot is required. You don't just make the draft pick and then, boop, all right, now it's up to him. Let's see how he does. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it should work. And organizations that understand it don't have the problems that the Colts are having, that the Browns routinely have, heck, that the Jets have had forever. So there's a science to it, and it's clear that the Colts haven't grasped the science. What the Colts have is a fair amount of great luck on their side. Peyton Manning the first, Andrew Luck. Unfortunately, the luck ran out due to injury.
Yeah.
Imagine falling into those two. Manning for however many years until injury. Luck for about half as many years until injury. And now you're just wandering the desert.
Lost.
We have no idea what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, Richardson's agent says, I'm not so sure we can be here anymore. They don't want you.
No.
They've decided to go with Daniel Jones, who is not much better than Anthony Richardson now.
Yeah.
It's just not. He's just average. So they have chosen mediocre over even trying to get you to anything close to your potential. And again, I'm not saying that's not on Anthony Richardson. I'm just saying the Colts have decided to give up on that particular player.
Just feels like guys aren't being developed for the NFL. They're just not ready. Some just look like they're being thrown in the deep end.
I was Bryce Young in year one. And Bryce Young came from an offense that was more pro-ready.
Big time.
But it's still, the adjustment period is real.
Mm-hmm.
Colleges do a very poor job of training quarterbacks for the NFL for this reason. It's not their job.
Yeah.
Every college program, their job is to win games. It's not their job to make quarterbacks NFL ready. 0 college programs are there for that. They're there to win. And what you see in college is massive amounts of coach or offensive coordinator control of what quarterbacks are supposed to do. There was a quarterback at Baylor named Bryce Petty. If college football fans might remember, he threw for billions of yards at Baylor. He got to the NFL. Jets drafted him, I believe, in the 5th round one year. He got to the NFL, and I was blown away by this answer to a question. A question was asked of him about calling a play. He's like, I've never called a play. And what?
Uh-huh.
Excuse you? Now, how the Jets still drafted Bryce Petty in spite of the fact that he never called a play. He didn't ever take a snap under center. He didn't call. He knew because he was told by the head coach, who was Art Briles then. He was told by the head coach he knew where he was supposed to throw it. So he would get the snap and he would just throw it to where he was supposed to throw it. That was the game. And they were so well coached, so well schooled that offense was great and it worked. But he gets to the NFL, that ain't happening. He wasn't ready. He was not prepared. And I'm not blaming Bryce Petty or Art Briles or anything. It's not their job. And the NFL has done a very poor job recognizing this, or if they do, they simply don't care. I've had many, many conversations about, well, because of the rookie wage scale, teams are not having to pay these quarterbacks a lot of money. Was it Bradford? Chad? I don't know. A quarterback who came out of Oklahoma the year before Cam Newton came out of Auburn. That quarterback was the last one who didn't know what he was about to get paid. Cam Newton knew. Whatever the number was, $3 million. That's what your salary is. You couldn't negotiate a big money deal. Right? It was Bradford, I believe is his last name, and he signed a huge contract. That was the last one. And teams who don't have to pay quarterbacks for more than 4 years, and it's low money, it's easy to treat them as disposable, theoretically, except that we forget the cost of time. And teams that continuously fail in identifying quarterbacks cost themselves time. And which is why we talked about this yesterday, where the Panthers' real mistake was going after the quarterback a year too soon.
Mm-hmm.
In order to trade up from 9-1 and have their choice of the 2 quarterbacks, even though there were 4, they had to give up DJ Moore, draft capital, and when Bryce Young got here, there was trash around him. He was never going to play well. And it was really, that was an organizational failure.
Big time.
They failed Bryce. I still think they got their quarterback of the future. Regardless, I could be wrong. Had they waited, had they just drafted and built their team, the next year, I'm not saying that you get Jaden Daniels, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the chances of you having a better team around which to insert the quarterback goes up.
Is the right way to do.
Yes. So the Panthers really were an organizational failure, and we could trace this back to Cam. This is not about Cam Newton. It's about pushing Cam out the door last year of his contract, and maybe that was always going to be a messy ending anyway. But the Panthers went through the Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, all of that.
Matt Corral.
Right? They went through all. They drafted Matt Corral, then he never, ever threw a pass for them.
Hurt in the end zone. The other side of the field.
Yeah. Right? Never threw a pass for them. So, again, organizations screw this up. So I didn't get to the second topic of conversation, but I will tell you right off the bat, I'll spend 60 seconds on this because we are going to talk about this with Chip coming up in a little bit. The University of Michigan found out their penalty, right? It was a huge fine. It was many, many, many years of show cause penalties to Connor Stallions, and Jim Harbaugh, there were some, ancillary restrictions on recruiting and blah. Sharon Moore, the head coach, will be suspended for 3 games. The first 2, they cherry-picked this year, games 2 and 3, so he's not going to miss the important game, non-conference game this year, or it's games 3 and 4, whatever it is, and then the first game next year, which isn't an important non-conference game. So that's not a big deal. And theoretically, in my brain, I go, yeah, that's bad. That's weak. That's weak sauce. You didn't punish Michigan. When you think about it, though, what was really their infraction? Right? So, we'll get into this with Chip because the NCAA just reinforced what they have always been, and that is bad about enforcing penalties in any way, shape, or form. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. We'll talk to Chip. We'll talk about strength of schedule, and he will pick one pick for Chip. Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
You've heard the perfect scores on air. We're bringing our champions to the stage. It's our 2nd annual Numbers Game Live Show, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Perfect players will compete on August 21st at the fabulous Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Watch on YouTube as we crown a Numbers Game champ. Special thanks to On-Site AV, a full-service event production company, for lighting up Numbers Game Live.
Hi, it's Adam Gold for my friend Gordon Miller. You know Gordon. Gordon is the man that is saving you thousands of dollars if you are a home owner, because you need a mortgage, unless you're buying your home for cash, which is, you don't really need to listen to me. If you could fast forward it, go ahead. But if you have a mortgage, you know closing costs add up. Thousands of dollars in different fees that the bank charges you, ultimately to lower your monthly payment by about $50. Wouldn't you rather save $5,000 than save $50 a month? That's right, because that $5,000 comes out of your account. You got to come up with it. At closing, sometimes other lenders will roll that into your loan amount. You don't want to finance closing cost. Miller Lending, home of the original and most successful no closing cost mortgage since 1996 on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Miller Lending. Get to them today. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 2502146.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Want to score points with your boss? Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Is he married to a person or just himself? Because that, I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgery of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
Oh, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself over an ayahuasca?
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. It's one of my favorite shows of the year. What is it? We're into August.
Yeah.
Right? Heck, August almost over.
I know. I was going to say. It's past mid-August.
We already talked to Joe Person from The Athletic. Bubba Cunningham will come up in just a few minutes. 40 some odd. He'll join us at the top of the next hour. But right now, best part of my week, Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast monitor. Well, yeah, maybe. Moderator joins us every Wednesday. That was awkward. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I hope you are. What's our injury? Oh, I was on phone last time. I had
this is new. This happened Monday. Our injury is it's a broken bone in my shoulder, which
upper body.
It's upper body. I should have done that, right?
We're just gonna call it upper body, and we're not gonna tell you anything else. And when the playoffs are done, we'll finally find out what the details are.
I escaped a worse injury, thankfully. We'll just leave it.
Good.
We'll leave it right there. A couple of things I want to get to. One is a recent development. The other is, I guess they're both recent. But I want to talk to you about the University of Michigan and their penalties, which I don't want to minimize what could end up being maybe a $30 million fine.
Right.
But I also think that the University of Michigan will find that money somewhere. Donors, maybe Adam Schefter will donate that money to the university. Maybe Desmond Howard will donate that money. There's plenty of University of Michigan money out there to cover the cost of what the fine is. But I find it interesting because it seems like most people will say that they got let off, that there was no postseason ban. So the NCAA or whatever, the College Sports Commission, whoever's making these decisions now, basically said it's okay to cheat. And then I go back and I think, what was the infraction? I kind of feel like the infraction was bad, but it wasn't the worst we've ever seen. I'm not trying to minimize it. I guess I am, but I kind of think that maybe the punishment here did fit the crime. What are your thoughts on what they did or didn't do to the University of Michigan?
Oh, they got a postseason ban.
Did they?
Did. Yeah, because they can't get postseason money. Oh, you know what? And guess what? They do have. They lost draft picks. Did you see that?
No.
They lost draft picks, aka they lost scholarships. Okay. I mean, just start to spin this forward. They got hit with a heavy fine.
Did.
They lost draft picks. This was a NFL professional approach in an NFL professionalized college football. And again, postseason participation, everyone is invested in having Michigan in the postseason, but right. Michigan can't benefit. So now if Michigan makes the playoff during this probation period, everybody gets to benefit from it except for Michigan.
Except they're there.
It is a new era of a postseason ban.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think we are just not going to see. Here's what I wrestle with. I agree with the mentality that the current players should not have to serve the punishment for individuals that are no longer there. That a previous regime, that what they did should not impact what's happening to the current program. Now, the threat of that was supposed to dissuade you from violating the rules, but this had to have some kind of punishment because it was so brazen. You were right. What is the violation? The violation is impermissible scouting.
Yeah.
And the brazenness with which the scheme and the operation was put together by Connor Stallions is what generated a heavier result. But if you want to talk about a vacated win or a vacated championship, because that's what Louisville basketball, that's what USC football,
right?
That's what many, many more are the most upset about. I think that there is something to be said for the court of public opinion and how Michigan's great return to the top of college football will always be hand in hand with an operation which they so subtly called KGB. Read the documents to this story. It's so incredible.
It's so good.
He threw his phone in the bottom of a pond. The story started to break, and he threw it like in Arrested Development when he just tried to throw a letter in the ocean.
Tom Brady did that, right? Tom Brady with the Deflategate.
Do you know what we said this is going to be? This is going to be a Coen Brothers movie. This is going to have
Fargo.
This is going to be Idris Elba as Sharon Moore. This is going to be John Hamm as Jim Harbaugh. This is going to be Aaron Paul as Connor Stallions. This is This is both. They thought that he was selling vacuum cleaners so that he could make the money to be able to buy these tickets to send people to all these games. The scheme itself was so over the top that it was a violation, and a brazen one at that. This guy wasn't going 10 miles over the speed limit. This guy was going $115.
This almost sounds like a Better Call Saul episode, right?
Yeah. Yes, 100%. So the many pieces of this, I'm glad that Michigan doesn't have a postseason ban right now. I think that there had to be a stiff punishment, and there has been a lot. I mean, my very good friend Dennis Dodd dropped the percentage of Michigan's endowment, but they're not going to spend endowment money to make up the difference here. This is $20 to $35 million that Michigan won't have that Ohio State has. This is $20 to $35 million that Penn State has that Michigan doesn't have. And you can reach out to try to use boosters to make up the difference, but then you still need those same boosters to be able to get a roster that's competitive. So I think it is a heavy financial penalty, and that is the modern era punishment, because we are not going to be seeing any kind of death penalties or vacated wins or postseason bans from the NCAA moving forward.
So not making Michigan take their title away, to me, is a slap in the face to Louisville, who yesterday, I would hang that banner back up. USC, same thing. I would start celebrating that national championship team. I would bring them back to whatever good game Southern Cal has at the Coliseum. I would bring that entire team back and honor them and celebrate the national championship, because if we're not taking, if we're taking they're taking the violation seriously enough to slap that kind of a fine on them, then Southern Cal and Louisville should both say, wait, we won. We should celebrate that. It should count again. Is that wrong? Is that unfair?
No. I mean, I've always said Reggie Bush won the Heisman. You can't tell me otherwise. So
I saw it. I watched it happen.
Yeah, he was incredible. Yeah. This was the kind of player that made me that as college football became less regionalized and more national, the electricity of Pete Carroll's USC teams was one of the things that had me really investing as a teenager and as a college student in football outside of the ACC.
Real quick about that Southern Cal era, that Pete Carroll era. As a kid growing up in northern Jersey, Southern Cal was my college football team.
And that would be, I mean, I'm not trying to date you, but that's John Robinson, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it was late 70s, early 80s with the great tailbacks and Marcus Allen might be my favorite college football player of all time. And nobody looked more smooth than Marcus Allen running. I loved student body left, student body right, all that stuff. And then Southern Cal kind of went into the Ted Tollner wilderness. It wasn't all him. There were a litany of coaches that were just kind of mediocre, and they weren't great. And then Carroll goes out there, and he makes them the pro team of Los Angeles. It was, to see that resurrected was just awesome. I thought it was great for college football. They were a great team to watch. They won 2 national championships. I know they're only giving credit for one. That's a tangent. All right, let me move on to something else. I have 2 other issues before we get to the stuff that's really fun for you and me. Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator. The Big Ten commissioner, Tony Petitti, floated the idea. Field of 28 in the playoff. I laughed. I thought, this is not the Onion? Then I talked to Manny Diaz about it on Monday. And he pointed out, FCS has 24. Manny Diaz was looking at it, obviously, from a coach perspective, and I'm not with 28. Heck, I'm not really even with 12. I'm really more with 4. But 28 seems to me to be a little excessive. What was your reaction to the notion we could have 28 teams in the playoff?
Oh, we need games so bad. Oh, my God, the season cannot get here fast enough. I mean, this goes all the way back to May. we have been floating ideas. We have been, socializing formats, populating ideas. Oh, man. I mean, we went to the Grove Park Inn, and we went to Destin, and we went to all these amazing, beautiful places, and came back with, you know what? We might not change it.
Yeah.
And
that's what annoyed Tony Petitti. It's like, well, the SEC isn't coming up with any ideas. Why do we have to?
Yeah. It is possible that it is possible we've got an Overton window situation. The Overton window being you throw out an idea that is so outrageous, it makes your previous outrageous idea seem less outrageous. So as he's seeing the 4-4-2-2-1-1 or 4-4-2-2-1-3 model just almost on the verge of getting cut, you throw out this 24-28 team model, you're begging for the 16-team model. Because what now, like, serious reaction, I am fundamentally against this for the sole purpose of the way that this will be taxing on everyone. This will be taxing on the players in a new way. This will be taxing on the coaches who already get destroyed in the month of December with a high school recruiting cycle, with a transfer portal window, with whatever postseason prep that you might have. And oh yeah, do you have a family? Well, you might get Christmas Day with them, only thanks to the NFL now being a Christmas Day sport. That's the coaches. Then the players. Oh, okay. Let's add 2 more. 19 games?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure that all of the bodies that are, definitely all NFL ready. Look, just because they're getting paid now doesn't mean that they should be treated like the very best athletes the game has. Number 3, the fans. I think that the fans will check out. The fans will no longer see the significance of a college football Saturday when you've got these situations where a team can have clinched a playoff spot at the beginning of November.
Yeah.
And number 4, me, Adam.
Yes.
Me. Do you know how tired I am going to be? How much I put into a college football regular season? And then we're going 24, 28 teams in this playoff? Listen, last year, great circle up with a lot of familiar friends before I guess it was the Ohio State, Texas Cotton Bowl, which was the semifinals last year. Great game, phenomenal game. Sure. Texas has a chance to tie the game, fumble, run it back the other way. They end up winning 28-14. But before the game, we're just looking around with friends from several other outlets. We're like, man, we are so tired. This is, this game week 19 or 20, game 15 or 16 for all these teams. So yeah, it is the coaching staff, it is the players, it is the fans, and it is me that I just think that the bloat would have negative impact.
Right, but they don't care about any of that. So, and this, they only care about how much money they can raise. Look, I think ultimately we're going to get to something that looks like this. And you know me, I'm radical about it. I think football is going to separate, and we are going to have essentially just a pro sport using college licenses. That's it. And when we do that, then it doesn't matter what they do because there'll be collective bargaining with players and everybody. But I saw this and I just laughed. Among other things, how do you get by the legality or avoiding being sued when you've got 28 spots in this playoff and you still don't have room for the other FBS conferences that aren't part of the Power Four? I mean, how do you possibly do that?
The problem is that all of those other FBS conferences signed a memorandum of understanding that handed over all of the control to the SEC and the Big Ten.
And it will not stop somebody from suing.
Sure. But I mean, that's what they'll keep pointing back to.
And on the back of the ticket, it says that we are not responsible for flying objects in the stands. People still get sued.
Yeah. Sure.
So, but you point by point obliterated the 2018. You could have just said, "Isn't that ridiculous?" And I think most people would have gone, "Yep," except for coaches.
No, step one is stop talking about this. The season's about to start. Like, what are you doing? Stop socializing. Stop populating. Stop going through all of this no bad ideas because you have you've got great football stories that are happening.
Right. Also, wouldn't it destroy the integrity of the regular season? I mean, I believe that 12 did diminish the regular season. Alabama beating Georgia proves that. It did do some damage to the regular season. But 28 in the playoff would do worlds of damage. The other thing that will never happen, and people think, well, it'll encourage teams to play better non-conference games. Can we please stop with mechanisms, that unofficial mechanisms that you hope will force teams or allow teams to play better games in the non-conference? Nothing has ever happened like this, and it brings me to this. The College Football Playoff Committee has announced that they're going to use a new and improved strength of schedule metric, which I looked at. I'm like, I don't even care what the components of this strength of schedule metric are. It doesn't matter. It only matters when they want to reverse engineer somebody in or out. It's never they don't talk about it. Like you and I have gone back and forth on Indiana. If it mattered, Indiana wouldn't be in. Mm-hmm. End of story. But it doesn't matter. It has never mattered. Ever. And it won't matter this year for Penn State. They play 2 games, maybe 3, if the game in Happy Valley against Indiana is considered a losable game. I mean, there's no component for it in college football. So we got to stop pretending that there is. And I don't know, maybe I'll be the only one screaming about it, but I'll scream about it.
I will say that what the 12-team playoff did do was and you can't bank on this, but when Ole Miss lost to Florida, that was great for the ACC.
Sure.
And Ole Miss losing to Florida in November is not normally anything that has any justification, any other ripple effects except for Ole Miss being mad, and Florida deciding that they're going to keep their coach around and not fire him.
Right.
That at-large math did deliver some excitement, but I just worry if you get to 24, 28, and especially if you're talking about 7 teams guaranteed from some of these conferences, then, at-large consideration drives conversation that I think has always been the lifeblood of the sport and getting people to talk about it. So, yeah, I'm kind of out on all automatic qualifier formats.
Me too. But I am here for a conversation about who did you play. All right, now the fun stuff for you and I, even though college football is fun. All right, we've got our automatic 6. We've got Scheffler and Spawn and Xander and Henley and DeChambeau, who surprisingly didn't get bounced out because Justin Thomas didn't play all that well down the stretch, and Harris English. Those are the 6. Thomas narrowly misses out. He's 7th. Cantlay, Morikawa, we can agree that there's no way on this earth that those 3 guys won't be part of the team, even though you could argue that Morikawa maybe didn't deserve it, but he's going to get in. Ball striking, even though he's not the longest player in the world. Ben Griffin has won twice and has consistently proven to be an outstanding player, or at least having an outstanding year. And Cameron Young, who just won in Greensboro's first time, but is certainly trending in the right direction. Long hitter, great putter. Are we in agreement on those 5 at-large picks?
As a matter of opinion or prediction?
Well, if you would like to change one of them, by all means, go.
My matter of opinion is to include Cam Young, yes. My matter of, and I think my matter of prediction, Cantlay, absolutely. He's got a good record.
Yeah.
And hasn't been that bad, but just hasn't been right at the top. Colin might be lost in the woods, but the talent's too good. You can't Like, you're not going to win or lose the Ryder Cup at Bethpage based on whether Colin is at the top of his game. I mean, that decision probably comes down to whether Scotty has a bacterial infection or like whatever it was that hit like everybody in Rome, right? You know, they're not going to be jet lagged and they're not all going to be sick.
Right.
So, you know, Scotty, Xander, like those are the names that really we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
On the Scotty front, there is a Sam Burns camp. I don't think that Sam Burns should make the Ryder Cup team just so that he can babysit Scotty.
Right.
Because I would have as my 11 and 12, and yeah, JT Collin, Ben Griffin, Cantlay, but for my 11 and 12, I go Cam Young, Chris Gotterup. I have them go out there 4 balls only, and I have them go out first. I get the 2 big hitting local boys to fire up that whole course. Just go out there, swing at it, bomb it, go for birdies. Nothing but aggressiveness, green light go, and a lot of fist pumps, and just create this raucous environment that everybody that follows behind you in the session has to deal with. And so, yeah, I would even call them the Bash Brothers. I would make T-shirts. And yes, with that in mind, I would go Cam Young and Gotterup as my 11 and 12.
I float Gotterup on Twitter, and they go nuts. If I were Keegan Bradley, had I been playing better the last 2 months since Travelers, it would be an easy pick. But he hasn't. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been, to me, good enough to be an automatic pick. And if you're the Ryder Cup captain, you only pick yourself if, I have to be on that team. And I think, based on you and I, actually, those 5, Cam Young, Griffin, and the big 3, you and I are the same there. It comes down to whether it's Burns or Gotterup or Bradley or Maverick McNeely, or to an extent even Brian Harmon, although I think he's at the back of that. To me, it's one of those. And I don't think Bradley is that much better or anybody is that much better, but I'm with you. I like Gotterup because he can absolutely crush the ball. I do question whether or not Cam Young will ever fire anybody up because I've never seen an actual expression from Cameron Young.
Well, this is where a great point made by my former colleague and dear friend Kyle Porter is that there is an X factor when we're talking about some of these final spots. For you would not take Cam Young to Spain, right? Because when you are the visiting side, you have to bring your own juice, you know? But you put Cam Young at home, especially at Bethpage, you're not asking him to fist pump, but you can you will get as much as you're going to get out of him in that type of environment.
I'm a big fan. Look, his game is certainly, a couple of years ago, he was, nearly came out of nowhere and won the Open Championship, and he was right there, especially the second half of the year. When Rory didn't win the major at St. Andrews and Cam Smith came from behind, Cam Young was nearly there at the finish line too. So you and I are in agreement. We've got our 12 teams. We'll wait for Keegan Bradley a week from today to make his announcement. When we speak a week from today, we'll know who the 6 are.
I will say that Brian Harmon, of course, has the advantage from being on the team before.
Didn't play very well.
Matt McNeely's been great, but he doesn't have a lot of the like Cam Young was on a President's Cup team, you know. So it's I'm with you. Cam Young's in, and then my Gotterup play is already set up with he's only going out 3 times. It's 4-ball singles. Right. And the only thing I'm asking you is to go out there and get birdies.
Yeah, and Morikawa is going to play foursomes twice. Yep. And I don't think they're going to play him in 4-ball, play him in foursomes. He's a ball-striking, as Steve Logan might say, he's a ball-striking Jesse. All right, Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, my friend. I will talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
You got it. All right, when we come back, we got to stretch. We got to place bets. And this is something that we didn't get to with Chip, but I am going to give you a college course, a real college course that you cannot believe. And they're all in the state of Texas. Next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and here we go. August 26th, FanDuel Futures Day. Should be a holiday, and maybe it is for some people. It is for me. For football fans, it's also a holiday because it's 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. Take a flyer on that MVP, Bryce Young, plus 10,000. If you think the Panthers are going to be good, why not? How about who wins the Super Bowl? You know, the Chiefs are the 4th choice. That's right, the 4th choice. Broncos at plus 2,400 might be interesting. Anything you want, you've got it at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and a great app. Visit the FanDuel app today. Plan your futures bets now. There will be prizes. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
My name is Andrew Dotson. I'm a peer support specialist here at Phoenix Counseling Center. As a young man, 18 years old, I joined the military, went to Afghanistan in 2012, went through some hard situations, saw some things that were traumatizing. There's a number that I memorized, 105. That's the room number right around the corner. Room 105 was where I stayed last time I was a patient here, right before I got ready to really get sober. The first step in recovery is walking through the door and saying I need help.
Visit ncdhhs.gov/crisis services.
Experience a day of discovery at the world's largest natural habitat zoo located in Asheboro. North Carolina Zoo and Botanical Gardens offers miles of shaded pathways, engaging activities and nature trails, and award-winning educational programming for all ages. Encounter wild animals, flourishing plants, and extraordinary beauty as you explore the ancient Uwharrie Mountains in the heart of North Carolina. Every visit helps save wildlife and wild places. Plan an unforgettable journey at nczoo.org.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Bubba Cunningham, top of the hour. Director of Athletics for now at North Carolina. I always look forward to talking to Mr. Cunningham. He is, to me, a fun guy to chat with. Before we place bets, we always stretch. So let's do that. Without going through all of these things, I just want to give you the possible classes if you go to an FBS school in Texas.
Uh-huh.
All right. At Rice University, actually at one point Rice had a great baseball program, understanding the United States through baseball. Baseball is kind of our U.S. history.
Mm-hmm. Oh, big time.
Right? At the University of Texas, arguing the end of the world.
Okay.
Exactly. You could take this class.
Or you could just go on Twitter.
You could. Maybe that's actually what it is.
Yeah.
I don't even know which school this is. It's a green school. Maybe this is North Texas.
Okay.
Science, skepticism, and weird behavior.
You just go to Walmart. Sorry.
Where's the science component to that?
Well, yeah. What's growing on this floor?
At SMU, you can take How to Build a Time Machine.
Someone loves Back to the Future.
That's right. How to Build a Time Machine. Or Men in Black.
Yeah.
At the University of Houston, there's a wait list for this class. Beer appreciation.
Oh, yeah, there is. Yes, there is.
Yes. Let's see. At Texas A&M, Texas barbecue.
Wow.
This is a cooking class, right?
It is.
Let's see. Texas Tech, the zombie in media and popular culture. Media.
Wow. Okay. Zombie and media.
Interesting.
Walking Dead fans.
I don't know what school this is. I should know from the logo, but I'm not that smart. From Jay-Z to Kendrick Lamar, politics, power, and identity in hip-hop lit. Can I tell you? I'll bet that course is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Maybe not as good as Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
But, or
the beer one.
Yeah. Beer appreciation. But there you go. All right. Your turn.
Nice. Well, this isn't as awesome either. This one real fast. So if you went to, speaking of Walmart, and bought frozen shrimp, you probably don't want to eat it for multiple reasons. But they are recalling some of it because it may be radioactive.
What?
So-
Wait. That's not where I expected this to go.
No. Yeah, the Food and Drug Administration, they are warning
We still
Americans.
have one?
They are telling us to be very cautious when eating frozen shrimp that came from Walmart because it could be contaminated with, I think it's cesium-137, which is a radioactive isotope. Okay, so it was. The material was detected in containers from Indonesia at 4 U.S. ports, so this could be an issue. They do have, they did post the information on the codes, but if you have a bag, I guess, of their great value frozen shrimp, and it says to have like a best by date of
The great value is their brand, yeah.
Yes, but the like sale by date, March 15th of 2027. So, yeah.
Sell by March 15th of 2027?
Yeah, just go ahead and toss that. Just in case it's, we don't need radioactive shrimp. You don't want to, like, grow a third eyeball or something.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that is a really long time to have shrimp in your freezer.
Yeah.
But, you know what? It wasn't that long ago. We placed really good bets.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
So your Cubbies swept the Brewers yesterday, a doubleheader.
Yeah, they did. They swept them.
Yeah.
Right on out of here.
Nice. You got to back it up today, though.
I know, and they're underdogs, so I'm going with them again. But I also did win my Blue Jays one yesterday, too. Don't think I'm going to go with them again. But Let's go, Cubbies. They got Ray pitching today. They're at-home underdogs. I don't want to hear that mess. Let's go, Cubs, plus 100.
Yeah, I got Cubs at plus 100, over 6.5 runs, plus 248. That's where I was going.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, because...
Plus 100 is, I'm not doing anything on that.
I mean,
People know me better than that.
Who knows? Who knows? You want to go big, you can double your money.
Yeah.
But anyway, so because I'm the Cubbies fan that I am, I don't like the White Sox. So give me the Braves to win, and I'm going to take the over 9. That's plus 150.
I like that. All right. The Reds are in Los Angeles, take on the Angels. Cincinnati just 2 games back in the loss column from the Mets for the chase for the last wild card spot in the National League. I think they win. I think they stay under 9, plus 258.
Okay. And last but not least, the Dodgers are in Colorado. They whooped up on them yesterday, but I'm going to take the Dodgers and the under 11.5, plus 170.
All right. Champions League qualifying. Fenerbahce from the Turkish League, a very good league, coached by Jose Mourinho, one of the best there is, plus 190 at home to Benfica. I like Fenerbahce. Not a draw, an actual winner. Go figure. Bubba Cunningham, UNC AD, will join us next.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the preseason, so me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, are back in the trenches with our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp rolls forward. Insight on the rookies, the fresh free agents and surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want, a combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
We don't want you on our team.
You're not the right fit for this job.
You're too slow and fast. Don't you care how you look?
Weight bias hurts. Go to stopweightbias.com. A public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure, dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare.
Wow. With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
In terms of college football, forever they can do, whether it's in recruiting, whether it's in scouting, whether it's extra practices, whether it's working the refs, whatever you can do. I love it. I think the scandals are a feature of college football, not a bug. I've always enjoyed it. I think it adds to the excitement. It's like fighting in hockey. Like you get enough of it, it's good. If it's too much, sure. But I don't think it changes anyone sitting there saying, that's it, let's just do this. Harbaugh can survive. He can survive because he's 61 and he's an incredible football coach and he wanted to be in the NFL anyway. Yeah. Most of these guys can't risk that kind of stuff. It's a career ender unless you're Jim Harbaugh.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. That was Dan Wetzel, friend of the program, talking about Jim Harbaugh as a victim. He refuses to engage. He doesn't have to. He don't have to explain himself. I know Pete Carroll did when Carroll went to Seattle and all that. It's fine. The punishment levied against Jim Harbaugh against Connor Stalions, comedy to me because neither guy is ever going to be involved in college football. Sharon Moore is going to miss 2 games. Chip is right in that the financial penalty levied against Michigan is substantial. I said this when it was handed down. We cannot, in no way, shape, or form, we cannot ignore that it's going to cost the University of Michigan possibly $30 million. That is a substantial penalty. And it is with that which is a terrible segue to bring in the featured guest of today, the one and only athletic director at the University of North Carolina. I keep saying this for now, Bubba Cunningham, who joins us. I always love our conversations. We might get to something like that, but how are you? You doing well?
Doing great. Yeah, great to see you, and look forward to talking to you today. And that $30 million is a lot of money. That is a big time fine right there.
Yeah, I mean it's real. There's no joke there. So as I wanted to start with something a little bit lighthearted but serious because it was announced not that long ago that this will be your final year as athletic director at UNC. You know, you're staying around. And Steve Newmark is going to come in from Roush Fenway Kozlowski Racing to take. He's already here, but he's in a different role now. But then he'll assume the role. So I just have this vision in my head of you have a calendar in your office and you're just crossing days out. So what is the run up to your last day? What is this being like? Are you ripping pages off a calendar? What's going on?
No, that's like a prison calendar. No, that's not it at all. It's we're in a succession plan and a transition period where Steve is here now, started last Friday, and we're working together and just saying, okay, college athletics is changing a lot. There's a lot to do here, and here's a set of responsibilities and assignments for you. We still have 300 people in our department that have additional responsibilities, and just we're working through it. And then next summer, he'll become the AD. I'll have a different title, and I'll be doing work assigned to me by the chancellor. So it's really it's been great. It's good to have him here. Excited about the year getting started. So it's not much more than that.
What is the new title going to be, and do you have business cards already?
I do not have business cards in some kind of advisor role. I don't know what exactly it is. And I don't even go through it. I got business cards when I got here 15 years ago, and I still have those business cards. I don't seem to use those very much.
I don't use mine either. I have 2 boxes of them in an office in a desk down the hall. Bubba Cunningham is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I am old enough to remember, and you are too, when the athletic directors used to be coaches. So the fact that Steve Newmark is coming from big sports business tells us where college athletics is going. When you took the job a dozen years ago, did you think we would ever be in this position where it's the likes? This is not a criticism of Steve Newmark, but that this is where we're going?
I never really thought about it, but since this has happened, since we've made the announcement of this transition, I started to think back about my career, and the first AD I worked for was Gene Corrigan.
Good way to start.
Gene, obviously a career guy in intercollegiate athletics.
Yeah.
The second AD I worked for was a guy named Dick Rosenthal. Dick was a former basketball player at Notre Dame, became he played for the Fort Wayne Pistons before they moved to Detroit,
right?
And then ran St. Joe Bank, retired from St. Joe Bank, and became the AD. So I worked for him for 10 years. He left, and then they hired Mike Wadsworth, who was the Canadian ambassador to Ireland, and I worked for him for 5 years. And then they hired Kevin White, and I worked with Kevin for 2 years. So somebody not in the industry is not new to me when I reflected back on it. So what I think is what we are doing is saying, what's the skill set we think we need now for this industry and this particular institution going forward? And the two of us overlapping seems to make sense for us.
Bubba Cunningham is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, and it does speak to where we are. And I know everybody's searching for more revenue. I read an article, and I'm not even sure where it is, and it was more speculative in that the University of North Carolina might be looking to sell naming rights to Kenan Stadium, the new Dean Smith Center, logos on the field, logos on the uniforms or helmets to make up, to try to find the $20 million roughly in revenue share that must be distributed throughout schools. I think you should be able to sell everything. And I've joked, I've done this with you, I think you should sell 10-yard increments on the football field and put company logos from the 10 to the goal line, from the 10 to the 20. I think you should be able to do things like that. You're apparently not. But what is that search like for you when it's come to trying to find that revenue?
Yeah, well, Rick Bearcat, now we hired a couple of months ago, and is doing a terrific job thinking about what are those opportunities that, quite frankly, we've passed on in the past.
Mm-hmm.
They've been sitting there available, and we've just chosen not to do it. When Holden was here, Holden Thorpe, he said very early, he said, I'd rather take an ad than drop a sport. And so I think that's kind of the mentality that we're in right now is let's drive revenue so that we can continue to support these 800 kids and 28 teams. So, it's a choice. And if you can afford to not do it, wonderful. And we've been able to afford it for a long time in not taking a lot of the additional advertising. But that day has come and gone. So we have to figure out what are the new revenue streams that we've said no to, and now we'll say yes to.
All right, before I continue along that line, because it actually brought me to my next question, knowing what your values are about intercollegiate athletics, and I think our first, I'll just say clash, because we had differing opinions then, was a town hall we did, gosh, I don't even know how many years ago, 15 years ago, 12, whatever it was, where you were very much an old school college athlete, scholarship, let's do this, the way it was supposed to be done. How are you dealing with all of this? We have to find revenue so we can keep other things going. I mean, in some ways, you've had to rethink the way you imagine college athletics.
In some regard, I have, but I went to Washington, D.C. to talk to congressmen pre-COVID. And I went there with 4 values that I was articulating to anyone that would listen. And the 4 values were education, opportunities, choices, and economics. And in that order, The number one thing that we need to provide and continue to provide is a great education for those that come here to participate in a sport. I thought the best thing we could do as an industry is maximize opportunities for people to play. And I was worried about the number of opportunities dwindling, even though the commercial activity was going up.
Mm-hmm.
The third were choices. There was no path to professional basketball than through college. There currently are multiple paths to professional basketball that don't include college. There's still only one path to the NFL, and that's through college. So how do we continue to find more choices for kids that just may or may not be an option? And then the last piece was economics. What is the economic or the financial infrastructure we need to support those three things? Education, opportunities, and choices. So in that regard, it hasn't changed. The economic model has changed, but the values haven't changed. And so I think we'll continue to do that. And a lot of the change is coming through litigation. And prior to that, it had all happened through legislation.
Yeah, and I've been calling this, a lot of people call it the revenue sharing era. I'm just going to call it the lawsuit era, because the lawsuits aren't going to stop. Bubba Cunningham is joining us here. Some of them are frivolous. I'm not even arguing the merits of any lawsuit, but they're not going to stop. Bubba Cunningham, North Carolina's Director of Athletics. So revenue sharing, or you can say the universities are now paying players. There's a lot of ways to discuss it. So knowing that schools kind of go through their own ideas of what's important, where we have to set aside this money for this sport, this for this sport, some for past athletes. How do you avoid? Because you said 28 sports, a lot of them win a lot of championships. How do you avoid not giving enough funding to some of those sports? Are you worried that some of the programs will go away?
Yeah, the economic model is important, and 28 teams, it is a challenge financially. And what we're seeing right now is more institutional support for intercollegiate athletic programs. The recognition that two sports generate all the money, and the revenue share that we've had previously is sharing revenue among all the sports. Now the question is, if those sports are important, how important are they to the institution? And is the institution willing to assist in supporting some of the sports that have to be subsidized? Football and basketball, particularly at Carolina, are always going to generate enough money to cover their own costs.
Right.
Now the question is, how do we cover the other 26? And so I do think that's really important. And you mentioned the thing about lawsuits. We are driven, this is the lawsuit era. There's only two ways to stop the lawsuits. Either get an antitrust exemption or collectively bargain. And so we have to navigate that. And I think there's a group doing a wonderful job trying to drive to Congress to get something passed in the SCORE Act that could be very helpful to a lot of schools, to all schools. If that doesn't work, I think we need to turn our attention to some type of collective bargaining agreement. We have to be creative in how we come up with that, given the difference in all the state laws and everything else involved.
we're going to get to football, and maybe we're going to get to football through that, because I do believe it's collective bargaining. Because I'm not sure an antitrust exemption will stop lawsuits. I think they'll still show up, but collective bargaining obviously will. Not to mention, and I had this argument with somebody else, that it would give the schools a lot more certainty of, all right, these are the rules, because without it, we think we have rules, but it's still going to be all sorts of craziness. Bubba Cunningham is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So let's talk a little bit about the new era of UNC football here. So your overall thoughts, how cool it is every day to know that Bill Belichick's parking in a similar parking area. I don't know where you guys park, where he parks, and does he have special, like, 2 spots for one? Did you get moved somewhere because of his parking spot? How cool is it to have Bill, running the football program? What have you seen around, whether it's Chapel Hill or whatever, about having him be the head coach?
Oh, it's great. And I have a bike now. I ride to work on a bike now because I don't have a parking spot.
You're already retired.
No, it's been great. I mean, Bill is absolutely fantastic. The students have really enjoyed working with him. He's totally dialed into their success. And he's been great. He's totally reshaped the feel and the culture in the football program. It fits his personality and style. And so I think that's one of the coolest thing about, all of our coaches. They do have their own culture within their team. But you're right. Thinking every day, we've got an 8-time Super Bowl champion coach coaching these young people and trying to develop them personally as well as on the field. It's really, really fun to be a part of.
I mean, he's the greatest football coach probably ever. I mean, there's the shortest possible list. He's on it, whether it's Bill Walsh or Vince Lombardi. If we could throw Nick Saban in there, if we wanted, just call it football as opposed to pro football. Yeah. How has that played, just to refer it, kind of bring it back to the revenue, has that helped in the revenue generating area?
It's helped a lot. As you know, we increased the football ticket prices immediately, and then we
and you're sold out.
Then we sold out season tickets. Now we've sold out the individual game tickets. With the new success initiatives in the ACC, our television audiences should be up significantly. The donor interest and the excellence fund that the Rams Club now has shot up. So we have more than paid for our initial investment, and now we have to ensure that we have an ongoing growth in revenue that will continue to cover this investment, which that additional revenue helps subsidize the other sports that we had talked about previously.
So by next year, he's got to be in the college football playoff, or he's on the hot seat, right?
Exactly. Is that, Damon, Aaron, I mean, those coaches got it done immediately. The patience level around here is pretty short.
Oh, well, I appreciate you indulging me responding with a joke. Bubba Cunningham is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So you've got a pretty good non-conference football schedule. Maybe this is a question for Bill Belichick, but I don't foresee him just popping on, an Airlink and talking to me anytime soon. You guys, I mean, the non-conference schedule is not easy. TCU and the opener, the trip to Central Florida is not going to be easy in year one, the total changeover on the roster. So would it help? And this is maybe a question for Bill, but I'm going to ask you because you love college sports. Would it help if college football had a preseason game?
Oh, I think it'd be great. Bill talked about it, maybe January when he first got here. We talked about trying to do a scrimmage with somebody else. And we ran it up the flagpole, but we couldn't get the rule change, couldn't get an exception. So having some either scrimmages, exhibitions, something, I do think it would help. It's interesting because I was talking to one of our field hockey players the other day and one of the volleyball players, and I said, when do you start? And he said, well, we got this exhibition game this week, and then we start for real the following week. I'm like, every sport we have except football has an exhibition game. So I do think it's probably something that will happen as we go forward. The NCAA structure is changing. It's going to be more sports specific. I'll be very surprised if that doesn't happen within the next couple of years.
And isn't that something that could be really good? You can play your exhibition game as an FCS opponent, maybe in state, still give them money to come to your stadium and play a game, since it will be a game. It just will not count towards the schedule, and then maybe we can get a little bit closer to having balanced non-conference schedules, because they're changing the strength of schedule initiative as it pertains to the college football playoff, which I laugh at because I'm not even sure that strength of schedule has ever really mattered in college football. This is not throwing shade on Indiana or Penn State this year, but they didn't even try outside of the league. That the ACC, as a rule, the ACC tries, which I've argued is to its detriment. The other leagues don't really try that much.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that would help. I do think playing some other people would be good for the sport. We do that in basketball with the two exhibitions. We're trying to play one that's a really difficult game on the road typically, which, last year we were in Memphis, this year BYU, hosting an exhibition game here locally. I think it would be good for football. I do think it would probably improve your non-conference schedule as well. I do think, as I said, it's going to be more sports specific. And I think with the NCAA changing the way they operate, they will have rules that are really better for that sport from start to finish, as opposed to, hey, this is a good rule for the vast majority, so let's go with that. And so I think we'll see those changes.
I'm going to ask you one more serious question, maybe a joke, and then we'll let you go. Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director at North Carolina until, I guess, close of business end of June of next year. Look, everything that we do in college sports is tailored towards football. Football is driving it. It's 80% of the revenue, maybe more. That number's probably higher now than it was before. I have envisioned football separating itself from the other sports, doing its own thing, and then maybe allowing the other sports to kind of revert back to where it was, a little bit more sanity. So maybe the ACC can play a true round robin in basketball. Without going that far, do you have in your mind what you think it will all look like 5 years from now, which is probably the tipping point?
No, but I'm trying to give that a lot of thought. I do think that the industry needs some thought about, very concrete thought about what should it look like 5 years from now? What would a compensation model look like different than a scholarship model that we have today plus NIL or rev share? And then work backwards from that and work with Congress, work with conferences, work with the NCAA and say, we think this is a better way to conduct intercollegiate athletics on a national basis. I think you need to work with the NCAA, the CFP, the conferences, and say, how are we going to do this? Because right now, what we're doing isn't sustainable. So what does it look like? I think there's three fundamental things that you have to consider. Last time I had four, now I'm down to three. I think it has to be legally defensible.
Right.
I think it has to be financially sustainable, and it has to be anchored in education. And then you figure out, okay, if those three principles are the ones you have to build this thing on, then start to build it and say, okay, what's it look like? Can some of our sports look different than the other ones? Can some of those kids be paid? If they are, is there NLRB protection? Is there collective bargaining? Is there litigation protection? How do you do that? And then how do you make sure it's consistent across all 50 states? So I'd really like to spend some time on that the next couple of years.
I'm telling you, with all the money that football could make, it probably would be best for everybody if football just did its own thing and then allowed everybody else to go back. It might save a lot of money in a lot of other areas, which maybe would let football keep more of the money because they need more money. All right, what are you doing July 1, 2026?
I don't know. I have no idea. But
are you going to sleep in?
I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on with the thing here? We have a rotator cuff or what's going on?
Yeah, I had a run in with a horse. So it happens.
How's the horse?
The horse is wait a second. The horse is fine. The horse won. I came out on the short end of that. But yeah, everything should be good. It could have been worse, but I'm glad I should be good to go I'll be ready for training camp is what I keep telling everybody. So
very good. Very good.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. I'll talk to you. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
I hope so. Great to see you. Thank you.
Take care. Bubba Cunningham on the Adam Gold Show, the athletic director, soon to be advisor. I think he said advisor. I want that job. Advisor. Yes. All right, we'll take a break. We have sound, right, in the wall of sound, and a lot of stuff to do. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
We are knocking on the door of the regular season for the Carolina Panthers, and there are still so many questions on the defensive depth chart. The depth, the second unit. What happens if someone gets hurt? For the Carolina Panthers defense is the type of question where the answers are harrowing. You don't want to see them. It's like the end of a horror movie. Just roll credits.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Shoes, golf balls, and more. Plus, shop Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs, where we have everything you need from top brands like Callaway, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Ping, and Titleist. Plus, the easiest way to trade in your current golf clubs now with a 15% trade-in bonus. Swing by Global Golf Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, located at 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and here we go, August 26th. FanDuel Futures Day. Should be a holiday, and maybe it is for some people. It is for me. For football fans, it's also a holiday because it's 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. Take a flyer on that MVP, Bryce Young, plus 10,000. If you think the Panthers are going to be good, why not? How about who wins the Super Bowl? You know, the Chiefs are the 4th choice. That's right, the 4th choice. Broncos at plus 2,400 might be interesting. Anything you want, you've got it at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and a great app. Visit the FanDuel app today. Plan your futures bets now. There will be prizes. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Lenovo is celebrating 20 years in the Triangle. While a lot has changed, our passion for people and technology hasn't. We're excited for what the next 20 years will bring as we continue to deliver cutting-edge solutions that drive progress, power, and smarter technology for all.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria and the ones and twos. Tomorrow on the program, I think what you just heard. Actually, a lot of what you've heard today. Chip Patterson, Bubba Cunningham, West Durham from yesterday. It is a best of. We use the term loosely, but those are pretty good.
No, it's great.
So we'll do all that tomorrow as I'm turn the last birthday I will have next year.
Yeah, last birthday of the year for you.
The last birthday I will ever have tomorrow.
Okay, you're gonna stop celebrating?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, I don't do it
now.
I don't do a ton of celebrating anyway. So I will not be here, but we'll be back Friday. I
yes.
will, anyway. So, are we ready? Let's.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
So apparently there was a scrap, a dust up.
I know.
Panthers practice. DJ Wanham, Jalen. I don't know. Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody.
Chuba, Icky.
They don't hate each other.
No.
Everybody's fine. Dave Canales, good and bad.
There's a stubbornness and a resilience that comes with playing this game. And the challenge is, can you stay focused in those situations? Because if you're flying off the handle and spouting off and saying different things and you're pushing and shoving, but we're not getting execution, then what is that? What good is that? So we have to be able to have both. And you have to be comfortable playing at such a high pitch, emotionally and physically. You have to be comfortable being able to snap back into the next play, but yeah, it takes that kind of want to, that kind of urgency to win in this league. It takes everything you got the whole time. And so that's the mentality. But can we reel it back in, guys, and can we just get back to work here? Which we did in the middle of that drive. We got back to, we had to, get a short break of it, and then we went right back to work and got another 6 or 8 plays, with some really good execution.
I love it. I have no problem with those scraps as long as it doesn't linger into something else. DJ Wanham, who's been around, actually former Viking, right? On that having a positive overall effect.
Growing up, I was in fights, with my friends, and, after the fight, we were best buddies, and it kind of made us closer. And just from a football aspect, it's kind of similar. We bringing out the best in each other, We want to see each other succeed at the end of the day, but when we on this field, I'm going at you and you going at me. And just seeing that today kind of brought that out. We saw it a little bit in OTAs, but today was kind of like a big thing where it just kept going and going. So just seeing that, I feel like it just makes the best out of us players, and we knowing that we come to practice, we got to be ready to go because I know the offense going to bring it every day.
We talked to Joe Person earlier. You'll hear some of that in the rewind. Defense is potentially an issue, right? No matter how good your offense is, you're going to have to get some stops here and there. Now, I will say this. Sometimes your offense is so good that it puts so much pressure on the other team's offense to keep up that it actually can help your defense.
Yeah, that was the Lions all last season.
Well, a lot of it, yeah. Well, the Lions' problem at the end was that they were decimated by injuries, right? And if that happens to the Panthers, heck, even if they stay healthy, they don't have a lot of depth. But if they suffer some difficult injuries,
not good.
I'm not even talking about to J.C. Horn or Derek Brown again, but to any of the starters, there's really not a lot of depth good enough to fill in those roles. So that is the real fear for Panthers fans going into the year, that the defense won't be able to take advantage of how good the offense could be. I will say, if we're going to, what's the motto of the team, Victoria?
The motto of this team?
Of
keep
the Panthers,
pounding.
right. If we're going to keep pounding, meaning we're going to run the football, the best way to have a good defense is to have the ball.
Yes.
Let me just draw a hockey analogy here, or comparison. Part of why Carolina is such a good defensive team is because they have the puck more. See how it works? There's only one puck. If you've got it, the other team can't score.
Right.
Theory. In the NFL, or in the sport of football regardless, if you have the ball, well, the other team could score. You could screw it up and they could score. But by and large, they can't. So, the more you have, the more you can put together good... You don't even have to score. You could just get 3 first downs and ultimately kick the ball back.
Burn time.
But the more you have the ball and can do stuff with it, that's just so basic. But their offense is going to have to also keep the defense off the field. Real quick, for Carolina football fans, let's go back in the day when Larry Fedora was here. They would score in like a minute and a half. And a terrible defense would go back out onto the field and get run into the ground. And then Carolina would have to score a lot. Now, fortunately enough, for the most part, but obviously not across the board, the Tar Heels had great offenses with Larry Fedora, so they were able to score a lot of points, but they have one really good year. It's tough. You got to be able to stop somebody. Good defense will always give you a chance. Does defense win championships? I would dispute that. I still think it's your offense, but defense will give you a chance every game. All right. The Colts made a decision. Anthony Richardson out. Daniel Jones in. Shane Steichen is the head coach of Indy. He explains.
Part of that is, we threw him into the fire early as a rookie and had some injuries and, been battling some injuries. And I think that's all part of the development, of his game. I think everyone's journey's different. And for the first time, this is an opportunity for him to sit and learn. He's 23 years old. And, if his number gets called at any point in the season, I believe he'll be ready to roll.
We'll see. This is year 3. Similar position to where the Panthers were in year 2 with Bryce Young. Here's the difference. Young went into the regular season as the starter, and after 2 weeks, Dave Canales couldn't continue or didn't want to continue with it. They did not get to this point with Richardson, and I know the agent and the player probably feel like time is up in Indianapolis, and it certainly is probably from their perspective. I think the team probably agrees, but we'll see how they react. Daniel Jones is just okay. He has some high-end ability, but there's a lot of, that's no good. A lot of it. Which means that he's probably better suited long-term as a backup quarterback because, heck, you can come off the bench with a little energy, a little pizzazz. He's a great runner of the football. And we saw it with the Giants. He had some good, and he had some really, really bad. Jones on why this will be different.
Every situation is different. Every season's different. I'm growing and developing as a player constantly. And I think, so a lot of things go into it. I think I'm prepared and will continue to work hard to prepare.
So exciting. Good for Daniel to get another chance. Just because I don't believe the Giants made anything close to a sane decision by selecting him 8th overall. I think it was 8th overall when he came out in the draft. Just because I believe that doesn't mean I'm right. To me, I would not have. I didn't even look at Daniel Jones as a first-round pick because I watched him at Duke for 4 years, and I saw that if there weren't huge rushing games, that Daniel Jones was just an okay quarterback. And we saw that in college. In the NFL, you can't be a good quarterback unless you can throw the ball accurately, under duress. I never saw that with Daniel Jones at Duke. So I had my doubts as to whether or not he could be a successful NFL quarterback. Could be, again, I ain't the expert. But he's been in the league a number of years. And we'll see how, this team, it's not his second team. I think he ended the season last year in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how it works in Indianapolis. He went to a good spot because they have wavering confidence in Anthony Richardson. We'll just leave it at that. All right. When we come back, we'll hear from Joe Person in a rewind. And remember the national media debate. No big players want to play for the Hurricanes. One did. It didn't work out. And he clears up the record. Next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and here we go. August 26th, FanDuel Futures Day. Should be a holiday, and maybe it is for some people. It is for me. For football fans, it's also a holiday because it's 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. Take a flyer on that MVP, Bryce Young, plus 10,000. If you think the Panthers are going to be good, why not? How about who wins the Super Bowl? You know, the Chiefs are the 4th choice. That's right, the 4th choice. Broncos at plus 2,400 might be interesting. Anything you want, you've got it at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and a great app. Visit the FanDuel app today. Plan your futures bets now. There will be prizes. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
When life feels overwhelming, knowing where to turn can make all the difference.
That's why crisis services are here for anyone at any time, no judgment.
If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health, substance use, or feeling lost,
crisis services are here for you 24/7.
Compassionate, low, or no-cost services.
Whatever your crisis, you always have options. Find the support that's right for you.
Visit ncdhhs.gov/crisis services.
Voted best zoo in the nation, North Carolina Zoo and Botanical Gardens is centrally located in the heart of North Carolina. Bring your family to Asheboro for an affordable day trip or weekend excursion to connect with nature and make cherished memories. Discover towering giraffes, pouncing sandcats, and diving seabirds at the world's largest natural habitat zoo. Roam with rhinos on Zoofari or flutter by the exotic butterfly garden during your next visit. Explore more possibilities at nczoo.org.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me just go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. I dig this song. Sorry.
Me too.
Yeah. Seen Chicago several times. It's been a long time.
Just once for me.
Several times. So
they're fun.
I mean, horns.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to argue?
I know. It was, I think, well, the one and only time I saw them, it was the Cary Amphitheater Park. There's some amphitheater out there, but it was fun. It was outdoors.
Yeah.
Horns, all the thing.
Big fan of that. All right, we're going to do a rewind. And since we've already talked about Jake Guentzel's comments, let's include it. For years, we have heard, big stars, they don't want to go to Carolina. Couldn't ultimately get Matthew Tkachuk in the trade from Calgary. Couldn't get Timo Meier in the trade from San Jose. They went elsewhere.
Mikko didn't want to stay.
They always
here.
go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Jake Guentzel, he didn't stay. We'll get back to him in a sec. Mikko ranted. Just proved the point that these guys didn't want to stay, and we kept saying. This is sort of like having the Russell Wilson debate with the national football media. They never got it. Anyway, they still didn't understand. Jake Guentzel wanted to stay. He did like it here. This was a place he envisioned spending 8 straight seasons, and he was on I think it was an online show, Cam and Stick or something like. I apologize for not knowing the name of the show, and they asked him about his time in Carolina.
That was just a whirlwind kind of time, first time going to a different team. You're not sure how it's going to go, but I loved my time there. Great team, great group of guys, and it was a lot of fun to be able to play with those guys. Aho, I think, is an unbelievable player. Jarvy's a great player too. So those guys were just special players to play with for when I played with those guys in regular season. And there was kind of a lot of back and forth before free agency. Was hoping to get a deal done, right after the season, just didn't kind of come to fruition. And as time got closer and it got closer to free agency, I was kind of sitting there just, I'm already 4 days away from free agency. Let's just wait it out and see what happens. And then Tampa came and traded for my rights. And I think that was a no-brainer for me when that happened.
Yeah, could be definitely playing with one Hall of Famer, Nikita Kucherov, and very possibly another in Braden Point. Oh, and Victor Hedman's here. Oh, Andrei Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I totally understand. Yes, no state income tax also in some ways matter. I don't think that matters as much as people think. I will say this on Twitter. Some people still don't get it, including Canes fans. And they were like, the Lightning paid him more money. Actually, he will earn less money from the Lightning than he would have earned from the Hurricanes. But wait, he makes $9 million a year. Yes, for one less season. I'm fairly certain that at the end of Jake Guentzel's contract, I don't know, maybe he'll play again. But it'll be 37 going on 38. Unlikely. Maybe. So 7 times 9 equals what, Victoria? 63.
Yes.
8 times 8 equals 64.
Mm-hmm.
Which number is higher? 64 or 63?
That would be 64.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
by $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's negligible. Yeah, I get it. Less money per year. But the 8 times 8 is what he asked the Hurricanes for. Ultimately, they got to it, but it was too late. We call it an own goal. Here's the other thing. What was the other narrative during the playoffs? Does Rod Brind'Amour have to change his coaching style? Jake Guentzel? No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I love that. He just loves the game. The details of his game and how he coaches was unbelievable. So definitely a change up from Sully a little bit, but just the way that he coached the game, came about his speeches and stuff like that. He was a really good motivator for a lot of players, especially me. And it was a lot of fun to be able to play for a guy like that.
Everybody loves playing for Rod.
Yeah.
I guess except Dmitry Orlov. I don't know. We had it wasn't about Rod. It was just about his role more than anything else. Dmitry Orlov was used to playing 23, 24 minutes a game, and that was never going to happen with the Hurricanes. All right. Joe Person, who covers the Panthers for the Charlotte Observer. We have one more preseason game left but we're not going to see any starters. So there's really nothing we can take out of it that will matter towards the game in Jacksonville to start the season. So where are we, Joe, as we approach the beginning?
This is like the existential preseason football question. I mean, I remember years ago covering the Falcons, and it was like, did Chris Chandler play enough? And I don't say that to minimize the question at all, because I do think it is much more relevant on this team with this quarterback, because last year, you'll remember, Bryce and the offense, the starters on both sides of the ball, but we're talking about Bryce. They played a single series in Buffalo, the third preseason game. Yeah. It happened that they went down the field and scored against the Bills, second and third teamers, and boom. And why do I bring that up? Because Bryce then went in and had an abysmal start to the regular season, as has been well documented and as we've discussed. And so was that part of it? I mean, it couldn't have helped that he got so. And so I would have liked to have seen, I don't necessarily disagree with not playing him this week. I would have played him another series at Houston, see if he could have had just, and I get it. It's like, is one series going to make a difference? Right. I don't know. But if it were me, I would have played him one more series, gotten him out of there, and take your chances in Jacksonville week 1.
Isn't that what I said on Monday? Right? Without trying to sports radio it up in terms of, I have to find something I disagree with, even though there's no real disagreeable point. I thought that was an opportunity missed. You only get so many opportunities for information when there are no consequences.
Yeah, before it counts.
Right? So losing the game, having another bad series, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt. The only thing that hurts you are injuries. And maybe we'll find out, because Joe Person did actually in our conversation bring up that might very well have been upset with the offensive line and the fact that Bryce had been hit a couple of times. And at that point, it became I don't want him to get hit anymore. Therefore, we won't send the first team offense back out there. But with that said, what's he doing in the opener against Jacksonville? If they go 3 and out, even 3 and out again, they're not saying, well, you guys suck. Let's get the second team out there. Andy, grab your helmet. It's not what we're doing.
No.
So these are, for me, opportunities to learn without a downside. Again, the only downside is injury. And that's where I differed from the decision. Your plan going in was 10 to 12 plays and go from there. You got 7, counting the play that was eliminated for the defensive holding. And that was it. And you were like, nope. Because you were mad? That to me is, I'm not going to mischaracterize Dave Canales by criticizing it in a personal way. But for my money, it was just a wasted opportunity. And now we are done with the preseason for them. And I know the value of the 2 controlled scrimmages. But in the grand scheme of things, those are practice. So all that is practice. It's not a game. And games and practices, no matter how much you can simulate one in the other, they're not the same. Even games that have no consequence, they're just not the same. So now we're going into the season. We're done seeing Bryce. I know they've got other decisions to make real quick, because I know we had a clip from DJ Wanham, and I wanted to bring this up. Minnesota's got a bunch of injuries to the wide receiver position. And I'm only bringing this up because I saw Mike K. Quote tweeted. They are looking for wide receiver options around the league. Where is Carolina deepest, Victoria?
That would be the wide receiver room.
Do they have a former Minnesota Viking on their team?
They actually do.
I will be sad, but it should be on everybody's radar when Mike K tweets out, sees that story, and he tweets out, this could get interesting.
Yeah.
All I could think of was you could have just used the 2 eyeball emojis. Because, yeah.
Especially if he wrote it with his big pencil that he had at practice. Vashti Hurt took a video of him with this massive pencil.
So funny.
Said words mean more with it.
It's true. They're more difficult to write when you have to grip the pencil with your entire fist.
Exactly.
So the Panthers have 7 NFL wide receivers in the mind of Dave Canales. They could keep 7. But they probably won't, since very few of them contribute on special teams. And the ones that do contribute on special teams are at the bottom of the list. McMillan, Leggett, Coker, Renfro, Thielen don't. So now we're into the David Moore and Jimmy Horn part of the depth chart. So if the Panthers are moved to do so, it's possible that Adam Thielen could go back to the Vikings, which, I mean, if he's going to go anywhere, it's probably where he'd like to go, but I know he wants to stay in Carolina. I've loved Adam Thielen. You know, we talked to Joe Person about the tight end position, and he was, everybody we've talked to is a little skeptical as to whether or not the Panthers have tight end figured out. But to me, Adam Thielen always acted as the Bryce Young, security blanket of having that possession receiving tight end. They have not had that in a while. So we're out of here. We'll see everybody. It's great tomorrow. The best we could do. Victoria, thank you for everything.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Mr. Businessman. You looking to reward your staff for a great first quarter? Adam Gold here. X-Golf in Cary, right in the McGregor Village Shopping Center. Take your company party or team building event to a new level. First, the premier golf simulator in North Carolina. So much fun. Food is great. Bar's top-notch. And it's a better idea than another company polo. Plus, there's a buy one, get one special for your tee time as well. Just mention Gold and enjoy. Online at playxgolf.com/Cary, the home of premier indoor golf in North Carolina.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
We are knocking on the door of the regular season for the Carolina